Welcome to this episode of Coffee Time Doodles. Pick up a hot drink, relax, and enjoy. So this episode is mainly about Sekiro, the game of the year. But first, I'd like to take a small dive in the Game Awards. Are you happy with the winners this year? I'm happy with a couple of them. Fire Emblem Three Houses winning Best Strategy Game, Luigi's Mansion 3 for Best Family Game, Hideo Kojima for Director of the Year, and I'll talk about the Game of the Year in just a bit. First, the disappointments. I'm not alone to think that Final Fantasy XIV got robbed from Best Ongoing Game this year. It sadly went to Fortnite. I think this was an incredible year for FF14. They've impressed the scene a lot with the writing, the music, the new content. It's been very highly praised this year. I would have been happy for them, especially for Naoki Yoshida, the very charming and passionate director of Final Fantasy XIV. So that one was a disappointment. Speaking of disappointment, did you hear about Shroud's reaction to winning the Content Creator of the Year? He was not only absent from the Game Awards, which is acceptable, but apparently he gave a very blank reaction to it on his livestream. I guess he didn't care about the Game Awards. It's whatever. On the other hand, Booga, the kid who won the Fortnite World Cup, won the Esports Player of the Year and was pretty wholesome on the stage. Congrats to him. But the best speech of the night definitely went to Reggie, the beloved former president of Nintendo, and his heartfelt little story and message about the importance of indie game developers. Do I have anything to say about the venue? Oh yeah, when Green Day was performing and Twitch chat was spamming Boomer, I wasn't sure how to feel. Is it the time where the younger people start killing off everything that made the 90s awesome? That's so sad. Okay, but what I'm really interested in talking about is the Game of the Year, Sekiro! Sorry, I just got a new mixer and I got excited. But not as excited as I am about Sekiro winning the Game of the Year. I'm a huge fan of director Hidetaka Miyazaki and all of his masterful work, such as the Dark Souls series, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and as a fan, I'm extremely hyped for his next project, Elden Ring. Why does it have to be a PS4 game? Gosh darn it! Like Bloodborne was. Why do the best games always have to be coming out on console first? Gosh darn it! I've decided to wait until next summer for the PC release of Death Stranding. I just really want it on PC, gosh darn it! That's a tangent, but I'm a big fan of this other great director, Hideo Kojima, and the actors Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, the guy that played Hannibal in the TV series. I can't wait to play it! Oh my god, when Kojima was called on the stage and Norman Reedus was looking so happy for him. He has so much respect for Kojima, I love it. Reedus is always very intensely involved and passionate about his projects. He seems like he loved working with Kojima on Death Stranding. Kojima and Miyazaki are by far my favorite game directors. My heroes! I was so happy for Miyazaki to win this award. Interestingly, I don't think I personally liked Sekiro as much as I love Dark Souls. It's pretty close. I'm just a bigger fan of the dark fantasy world of Dark Souls. It's dark, scary, intriguing, it's emo. You know me, I like dark things. Another big difference between Dark Souls and Sekiro is the type of storytelling. In Dark Souls, the story is vast and polished, but it's very subtly delivered. You learn a lot by reading the description of the items that you find, for example. Each of them share a bit of lore. There are many YouTube videos about people's take on the meaning of everything in Dark Souls. It's pretty deep, but subtly delivered. In Sekiro, the storytelling is more classic. It's more in your face, more straightforward and linear. Sekiro is gorgeous, it's fresh, it's unique. You can tell it's a Miyazaki game, because it's hard, like really hard. It literally got backlash on launch from casual gamers that bought the game and were disappointed that there was no easy mode. Beautiful. The hardcore gamer in me rejoiced. I'm the type of gamer that plays games for a challenge. I want to struggle, to see myself improve and feel fantastic when I win in the end. Sekiro is faster paced than Dark Souls. I find that Dark Souls doesn't require quick reflexes that much. It mostly requires patience. But in Sekiro, there is this added difficulty to the genre. You really need to be on point with the sharp reflexes since the combat is mainly parry based. When Miyazaki took the microphone at the Game Awards, he immediately started talking about how anxious he was at the launch, not knowing if the fans would like the game. I feel like I can tell exactly why he was nervous. It's the combat system. It was a bit awkward at first to understand how the game wanted you to play it. Because in Dark Souls, you could parry, but you absolutely did not need to. In fact, more of us preferred always dodging instead of parrying because the timing was too easy to miss and the dodge was simply more consistently efficient. In Sekiro, at first you don't know if they want you to dodge or parry the most. Like, what do you want me to do, game? I'm getting punished for dodging. But after a while you get it. Some attacks need to be parried, some others need to be dodged. You need to memorize the cues and react accordingly. So in a way, it's more reflex based than Dark Souls, and also gives a little less freedom of creativity in combat. That's how I feel about it anyways. It gives a fight that is a bit more scripted, and there's only a few limited different ways to win a boss battle. Those combat mechanics can be awkward at first. Some people said that this combat style was not for them at all, so I can see why Miyazaki was nervous. He took a risk with his battle mechanics. But for most people, the combat felt fresh and rewarding. It's like playing a fighting game like Soul Calibur against many hard enemies that can also parry your attacks, but you're invited to use your surroundings to sneak in the shadows and prepare an assassination. You know what's the first thing I thought when I first saw the trailer of Sekiro? I thought, wait a minute, this feels and looks just like an old PlayStation game I used to play, Tenchu. Do any of you remember that game? It's a Shadow Assassin series in which you play a ninja that uses his grappling hook to climb on Japanese rooftops to sneakily assassin targets. Rings a bell? Doesn't that remind you of Sekiro? So I looked it up. I went to get my physical copies of Tenchu 2 and 3. It said, game developer from software. Mind blown! My new favorite game developer that makes the Dark Souls games is the one that owns the Tenchu franchise, so I looked it up some more. It turns out that Sekiro was initially meant to become an installment in the Tenchu universe, but further into the development, they decided that it was unique enough to become its own story or franchise. It was beautifully written, designed, and pleasantly challenging for a masochist gamer like me. So I'm very pleased to see my favorite game director get a pat on the back this year. It makes me happy to see him happy. That being said, I still think that Sekiro might have had a harder time in a year where there's bigger titles to compete with. Let's be honest, 2019 kinda sucked for gamers. We're all hyped for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima, Diablo 4, maybe even Last of Us 2, Breath of the Wild 2, but that's all 2020. I'm not sure about you, but for me 2019 was Sekiro and Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was also beautiful by the way. Capcom is on fire, and I can't wait for Resident Evil 3 Remake next year. So this year gaming was a little bit underwhelming. There was not a lot of big titles to go against, and I think that's why it created a sweet opening for a game like Sekiro to go through. So frick yeah! You friggin' go Miyazaki, and I can't wait for your next project, Elden Ring. Gosh darn it! So that's it for this episode today. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. And since this might be the last video before Christmas, I'm just gonna head back on camera here to wish you a very happy holidays with your family or friends, and I'll see you next week with a little special project that might involve Star Wars. You done?